Hey guys! No, not an orchid show. Well, not a society orchid show. It's still an orchid show. I mean, look at the show back there. So I went to the Denver Orchid Society's fall orchid show today. I did film. Bad news. Went to put it on the computer and it said corrupted file. We do not support this file. You know, the whole error message thing. Now I might go back tomorrow and film again, but it's not going to look as good because most of the orchids are going to be gone. Oh my God, guys, they had some beautiful stuff. And yes, I did. I came home with some things. I'll show you that tomorrow, though. Today, however, just a regular Saturday strolling through the orchids here in Denver, Colorado, in my living room. Let me get you turned around, and let's see what we've got. So, for those of you who've seen several Saturday strolls since I started this, normally, yes, I start at the bench. Today, however, we're going to start where I normally end because a lot of times I might miss some of the orchids or I forget about them. So we're going to start from the end and work our way backwards from the way I would normally do it. So our no ID, I'm going to call it a zygopedilum for the moment, but her growth that we saw the other week is, look how much it's grown. So I do have it turned around because the growth was starting to stick out. So I'm going to encourage that growth to come up instead of out and get wanky. Kingianum deliciosum, or is it deliciosum? Yeah, deliciosum variation. Let's see there, up. Hookeriana. Let's see if I can get it. Sorry for the lip smacks, guys. I'll try to edit those out. There we go. Now known as a Phalaenopsis, is doing just fine. Whoops, I guess you could see her just fine. That new leaf is coming along. Great. So she seems to really like it because she has grown this leaf since I got her. Now she's working on the second one. She does have nice roots in the pot. And then down here, as far as orchids go, I have this no ID here. And we have the tag for the Zygopedilum. But she's growing this new leaf. This was a stress leaf. I feel like this one's going to be a little stress leaf too. But you can see she's got some roots coming in. So that is amazing. And then my Syndapsis here. Let's just move on over. Look at this African violet, how she's growing. I kind of like it. Look how shiny and silky she is. Oh my goodness. But up here, this here is also a Syndapsis actually. It is the Syndapsis Moonlight. And look at the leaves on that thing. Oh my goodness. I love, just looks like someone took a paintbrush and just lightly painted some pale jade green on the leaves. Isn't that gorgeous with that deep line in the middle? Oh, just beautiful. I believe that's the Mendenhall, or is that the no ID? That's the no ID. I believe she's pink. This one here is really working on that leaf. Of course, Miss Morgan over here. Nice leaf. I haven't taken them down in a few days, about 10 days, so I'll have to get a good look. My Hoya carnosa is still doing fine. Haven't watered her yet since I got her. I kind of let them sit for a few weeks before I water them, just to let them completely dry out, because you never know what's inside that pot. Equestris, if we can get in there, is growing a new leaf. I just don't know if you can see that or not. Let me take her off the wall and see if we can see that. And let's see. Can we see it? There it is. Do you see? She's got a new leaf coming. Now, Fimbrata here, I don't know what she's doing. One of my subscribers, Patricia, she and I have been communicating about our Fimbratas, and they seem to be doing exactly the same thing. I know I've asked this before, but I'm going to ask again, probably ask again until I get an answer. What am I doing wrong? The spike that you see, she came with that one back in, pretty sure it was 2021 or 22. Let's just pull the tag out and see. So a year ago, back in September of 22, and she has another spike under here somewhere. There it is. So she has another spike, again, doing nothing. But look what is doing something, and she is really coming up. That is my Potinera Horus Maxima. Nope, Cattleya Horus Maxima. Potinera Dick Smith is what was on the brain there. I did cut the flower spike off of her so she could concentrate on some vegetative growth. And then, of course, this beautiful lady here, the Lucky Sun, still doing her blooming thing. roots everywhere. I feel like I need to repot her, but I don't. I think I just want to repot her, if that makes sense. Down here, we have a no ID. I call her Harlequin, working on that leaf. My two little cakeys that really didn't do anything for a good year and a half, maybe even 2 years, is finally putting on some growth. Have no idea which Phalaenopsis that is. It's a no ID. The mama plant created 3 cakeys really. So 1 keiki, 2 cakeys developed, 1 keiki didn't do anything and developed a keiki of her own, and that's on this side here. If you kind of look in there, you can kind of see that little small leaf. That was one of the original keikis. This no ID that I call Andrea, this is actually a keiki, is finishing off here and working on a new leaf right there. And I believe she might be getting a little too much light. She is starting to get some of the red anthocyanin, and her flowers are really soft pink, so she shouldn't have that much anthocyanin in her leaves. I will keep an eye on it. If it gets too dark, I'll pull her away from the light. Same thing with my no ID Harlequin back there. And then this one here I call Iris. She is also a no ID. So this is a keiki, and I will be separating this keiki from the mama, or I'm just going to take mama's leaves off and then cut mama's stem down and pot her deeper. Probably do a video of that. This one here is, again, a no ID. Again, I think she may be getting too much light because look at all the anthocyanin on here. But her flowers, because I have 2 more of this one. I bought it as a community pot years ago, back in 2020, so about 3 years ago. And the other 2 have bloomed. So her flowers are like that magenta pink, kind of purpley. So it's not too uncommon to see that on those type of Phalaenopsis, but I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out. Down here, this one here, I think inherently something is wrong with it. Yeah, she is growing another leaf. So again, if you still want this orchid, you know who I'm talking to, let me know and I will get it shipped out in the next couple of weeks. And you know who you are for this orchid here. I will also be getting this out by the end of September, okay? I'll email you when I send this one out to you. And then this one is, again, no ID, working on a nice leaf right here. She's grown these 2 this season and this one, so no reason for her not to bloom this year. I moved my little stars over here, and as you can see, she is really loving life since I've added more moss to the mount. Look how open her leaves are. They were all tight and everything before I added that moss, and I'm giving her more water. My Bellina here, she did finish this leaf. She's got lots and lots of root growth activity on the top, so assuming lots in the pot. These pots are hard to get out of this circle. This square is hard to get out of this circle, so I don't want to pull on it and mess something up. Speciosa red, look. Look. We've got some swelling going on. So we should see some blooms in the next few months or weeks, however long it takes. And yes, the puppers are moving around. So if you hear the little clitter clatter, if I can't edit it out, well, you know I live with dogs. Try to do this without the light glaring in, but that is a no ID right there. That's my Wendy. She's got some beautiful pale, like peachy pink blooms. Oh, they're just beautiful. Waiting for her to recover fully. And then what else do we have down here? So this is the Phalaenopsis dendrobium, the one that has the pink flowers. Her growth for this year is done, and it's sad. We're not even going to talk about it. Of course, Miss Lou's berry here, still blooming her head off. And then we have Queen Bear finishing off this leaf. And I do have it tied off because it was trying to go not down, but kind of grow that way towards the light. So that's why I kind of had her turned this way as well to kind of help flatten her out. And then this is the spring pleasure, spring fragrance, my fault. Cattleya spring fragrance that I did bring in last week because the grasshoppers just tore her up. And I have her here in kind of more subdued light. She's not sitting with the rest of the Cattleyas. Let her recover. But since bringing her in, these leaves that she does have, the growths, They are staying firm. They're not staying floppy. So I know there's roots inside the pot I can't see. I missed the base area in the morning, so it'll be nice and dry by the end of the day. And we have a loss to growth right here. You see that right there? Yikes. All right. This is my Tadia Momoka that I got from either Lowe's or a grocery store. She used to sit on the top shelf and was just vigorous, but somehow she's gotten a little rot in her crown. You can kind of see it right there. So I'm hoping to save her. Looks like I probably need to put some more cinnamon in there. If not, well, I see her all the time. If I really want her again, I could just replace her. If I can do this, like I said, I'm trying to do this in one run. Got up a little too fast, a little dizzy there for a second. Give me one moment. But these are ladies up at the top. Everyone is doing something. Most of them are growing a new root and new leaves. So that is wonderful. And let's talk about Miss Goldstaff right here with the spike. She's growing. Spike is growing. However, when she was under the grow light, her spikes and leaves grew a lot faster. So again, Phalaenopsis, if you give them more light, they will grow faster for you. Down here, let's see what we've got going on. Ho, 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 ho. Inscriptiosis is working on another leaf. Yaupon Evergreen is going to drop this flower soon, but we still have 3, and she is still working on this new leaf. And then my Summer Love here, let me just turn around, look at this coming. Look at that spike just coming right on along. That is lovely. Don't like the way her leaves have been growing, kind of that straight upright, but that might be her grow pattern. I'm going to leave her alone because she's finally establishing herself. Abonensis, we might see some blooms next year. She's not swelling anything. That spike is growing, but the good news is she's growing another leaf. That is amazing. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Is that hieroglyphica not gorgeous? And then we've got a single bloom over here hanging out by herself off of a different spike. And she's grown that leaf right there since last season. Oh my goodness. I love this thing. I love the pink. And then let me see if I can get in, because it's got like a fuzzy looking lip. Do you see it? That is just cute. Just cutie cutie. My Bellina Carula back there is finally, well, let me see if I can get it. There we go, finally growing another leaf. And then, of course, Miss Taishing Fly Eagle finally drying out the spike that she came with back in 22 or 21. I don't know what year I got them. I got them from Brookside. But this one bloomed all season. This one has 3 on her now. Plus, not to be outdone, she said, I'm going to grow you a leaf too. And of course, look at Summer Rose. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is such a gorgeous bloom. Love, love, love that. And since we're right here, my Phalaenopsis Yin's Black Eagle, if you can see the little tag, growing a better looking leaf. Does look like something is going on right there, but we do have that. Excuse me, just one second. Loki, let those people live their life. He's growling at people outside. But Minnie Mark, let me turn her around. Look at how beautiful these leaves are. Look at that. Look at that. So let's just look at the progression here. So we have that small leaf, and then she grew this one here, which is a little bit bigger, and then this one in equal size, and is working on a 3rd one. Wow. She's grown 4 new leaves for me this season, plus bloomed earlier this season. Wow, she's just gorgeous. Bellina back there is working on her 2nd leaf, and I checked that spike that she was starting. I think it aborted because I don't see it anymore. And I have discovered that Miss Pulchra is a mealybug magnet. I have taken off about 2 to 3 mealybugs in the last couple of weeks. So I check her every day for the whiteys. And then let me move Miss Lady here over so we don't knock her. My 2, Oh my goodness, let me turn them around. My two variegated Phalaenopsis, that the name is not coming to me, so I'm going to cheat and take the tag. Sogo Vivian Leaf's Edge. Okay, there we have it. This one here grew this leaf, and as you can see, she's starting to fill her pot up with some roots. And then this one here is the one that I got from Nicole Deanna back in July of 21. It's finally starting to grow new roots. But all of the roots that you see in the bottom, those are all aerial roots that she had. And she is starting to absorb a couple of her bottom leaves, so I'm not too concerned about that. That's a normal process. And then the Cattleyas. Let's just talk Cattleya. This one is the, I'm going to give you the name because it's kind of difficult for me to pronounce, but the Mako Archive Volcano Queen. Now this one isn't yellow with a pink lip, but oh my goodness, is she pretty. She is very pretty. If I can find the blooms from a couple of years ago, I'll show you. But look at this. Oh my goodness. This thing is just growing. And then, of course, my Dewy Forest over here is doing her thing. And then look at the stonker, this right here. This one right here was the one that I was worried about. She's put on 2 new growths. Completed this one and is not finishing, but working on leaf growth on that one in November of 23, so about a year ago. But wait for it. If you didn't see my post, look at the roots on this side, and let's look at the roots on this side. Like, hold on, let me get around everything. Sorry guys. Look at those roots. I have never timed it so perfectly with the bifoliate Cattleya. And the roots that she went in there with are still working because when I water, they still turn green. I'm so proud of myself on that one. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Pink Doll still hasn't started any root growth. And then of course, Yellowbird was going over last week. I cut her blooms after the show and she does have quite the new growths going on over here. Hopefully she doesn't grow out of that pot too soon. Green Leopard has this growth that she's finishing off, and I don't see any new growth coming as of yet. Encyclia, well, as you can see, those leaves are really starting to get high and wide, especially this one here. My Nodosa is starting to look better and better every time I really pay attention to her, because all of her turreted leaves are starting to open up a little bit more. They're not so tightly closed. But look at the Maikei. Oh my, look at this growth. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That is the largest growth that she's given me. When she got here, she gave me this one. And then this one was a stress leaf because I'd repotted her. But then this, wow. So hopefully not too far off from blooming size. This here is Velvet. She used to hang over by the picture by the front door. I did switch her out with the Yin Yang, the one that wanted to fall on the other orchids, because she has even though her roots are sticking out everywhere, this one here, I could loop it kind of behind the chain to keep it out, because I kept knocking the other roots on Yin Yang every time I would get up off the floor. Here I have my No ID Oncidium that's in the hanging pot. I need to hang her back up. I just have to put the hook up. So she's just kind of hanging here for a sec. So let me just move her over as well real quick. And come on, don't fall. So we talked about Maikei. And then Lelia Zip. Look at this growth. Look at that. She is already starting to open up her leaf. And I don't think I see any new roots quite yet, but her roots aren't that far behind. And then we have the Aussie Sunset Cross that looks like she's finished with this growth. Jane Austen, she's just loving her life now. She struggled for a little bit. I've had her since 21 as well, so I've had her for 2 years. And I kind of messed her up when I first got her, but she and I, we're getting acquainted and we understand each other now, so she's doing fine. And here we already talked about Lelia, it's a Greek wax ball. So my sheath is starting to get a little bit bigger. It's not swelling or anything like that. But the good thing is we do have those roots going in. Was going to freshen up her media this year because in the middle of that pot is really the old media that she's been in for a minute. But I don't want to disturb her. I'm going to let her work on one more growth, and then next year when she puts off some new roots, that's when I'll refresh her. And Maxima, oh guys, I saw the Maxima at the show. Oh, it was so pretty. I so cannot wait. Because I've seen it on videos, I've seen it in pictures, but seeing it in person, oh, it just takes your breath away. Lots of new growths. So we've got 3 active new growths. This is, she's finishing off, so soon there'll be a 4th new growth. And let's just go down. This is a no ID grown in Leca. And then that one back there is my Tadia Pink Blush. And I think Jiho's girl, I think she's getting too much light under here too, but guys, I really like it. Like, I really like it. So she's grown those 2 leaves this season and is working on a 3rd new leaf. Not too shabby. So, excuse me, she is in a net hexagon net pot with just moss in her, and she seems to be liking it. That one is one of my Phalaenopsis soft clouds, and that leaf looks a little suspicious. I'm gonna have to pull her out and see if she's got some bugaroos or something going on in there. But she is working on a new leaf as well, so we'll see how that one comes out. If that one comes out with the spotting like this leaf over here on the right, I'm just probably going to toss her because I've got plenty of soft clouds. Not like I'm going to miss one. Speaking of, this here is also a soft clouds, and she is definitely a lot more healthy than that one there. That one is my large Harlequin working on a leaf. This one here is Black Dots. She grew this leaf, and it's on a 3rd leaf this season. Another no ID that grew, that's the 2nd leaf I believe she's growing for me this year. And Sarai 2.0 is finishing off this one, so nothing new going on with her. The 2 experiment phals, I'm telling you guys, it's not going the way I wanted it to. But if you look at the Angraecum, she is starting to lighten up. She's not such a dark, deep green that she was sitting a little further away from the light. So I think she's kind of loving life right there. And then this one here is my Chia Yiling or something like that. But I moved her from the small shelf to this one here because she was outgrowing the smaller shelf. She's just doing great. All those new roots, and look at all the new roots growing in there as well. So I repotted her back in July, and she's done all this since then. She's finished this leaf and grown this leaf. So she's like, move. She's always been a healthy grower for me anyway. Another soft clouds, jewel orchid. Not much going on down here really. Other than, let's talk about this one here real quick. This one here is one of the ICPUs that Ken sent me, and it came with the growth that you see there in the middle. I don't think it's going to develop, but the growth that she started once she got here, it's just really taken off. And as Cattleyas go, it's growing fairly fast. And then everyone else down here seems to be doing okay. I need to water my 2 that are in the lava rock. So that's the small lava rock, and this is large and medium lava rock. But they seem to be doing all right. All right, and then up again. And then this is the Roy Taganagua again from Ken over at the Orchid Supply Store. Which, by the way, guys, don't forget you can use coupon code TRISH at checkout for 12% off. I missed the mark on remounting her. I'm going to have to wait until roots start on this one because these roots are already attached to the bark here, or this cork, this wood, whatever it is. So we're just going to have to wait for this one to mature, start some new roots, and then I will get her remounted. Let me grab my stool again so we can get up and over. This one here is the Lamagilia. So look, That spike just, it was here when I got it, and this is how much it has extended. And it looks like she is working on another bud. And then this is the no ID not Cattleya, but Oncidium with the pretty maroon blooms with the yellow. Oh, all the growth in there, just all the growth. I need to pull her down and see if she has any new root growth. And then I did move, like I said, the red fantasy up here as well. And since I did, and she's got space to go, she's just doing well. And then Muscari back there is really, really putting on a nice show with those leaves. And then look at the leaf on that. And guys, I did a video of the Phalaenopsis ICPUs minus the ones we just got this month. And I can't find the video. So I'm going to redo it and get it posted to you guys in the next few days. Now, my Isabella here, I'm going to take her down because... No, I'm not going to take her down. I'll just move my stool over. And look how quickly that growth is coming along. And the one on the other side, because she's got one over here as well, if we can find it. There it is. Do you see it? That is amazing. And that's off of the older growths that these two came with. So we have the potential for 4 directions of growth. The 2 that we see now, and then each one of these pushing out a new growth as well. I moved Porpox over here away from the bench. And then, of course, Miss Hawaiian Treat here is just treating me with all kinds of new growth. Now she would treat me with those beautiful, beautiful orange blooms. Well, they're kind of a yellow orange. They're not a real orange, but they're still beautiful. My cactus sitting back there in the corner. She is kind of squished, but I kind of like the way she looks. Miltassia here is starting to develop her bulb. It's really crowded. I don't want to move too much, guys. And then the Laelia purpurata variation Carina, that new growth is coming along nicely. And I did go ahead and remove all the sheathing because I noticed this and I wanted to make sure we didn't have a rot spot. And it's dry. It hasn't spread. Not sure what happened there. But as you can see, this wrinkling is, I did let her dry out a little bit too much earlier in the season, but this is now plumped up. But the wrinkles are always going to be there, guys, if you let them get to a certain point. Over here, the spike on our what is it, snowbird? Trish, these are your orchids. We don't know. Yes, snowbird sweet splash is moving right on along, and I do try to put her in the same exact position so this spike has the same lighting. My Epilalia Renee Marquis Tyler, just this right here, I guess it's another practice sheath. So maybe this year, if not this year, I'm expecting her to bloom next year if we get another practice sheath on this one. My Spectabulus here is, or Spectabula, doing fine. And this new growth, I don't know what that is. It's not putting off more than one leaf, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. And then here we have the Presidium, which I need to take her out and water today. So I'm going to look and see if we have any new growth going on down there. All of that new growth on the green dendrobium. That's what I'm going to call the one that I can't say, but there's the name right there. It's crossed with something. Look at that growth. Look at all those roots going down in that pot. Yas. And then the Phalaenopsis dendrobium that I broke the growth off. And she soon started another growth. And there is another eye that is swelling. It's just not taken off yet. But she's doing okay here. She probably needs some water because this leaf hasn't opened up. My Drac Super Brown is finally, so this, I mean, she looks horrible on the right. But if you look right there in the front, the little small fan, that's coming out pretty healthy. So I'm just going to leave her like this for a year or so and let her fill in that pot and get even more healthy. And then we do have some leaf separation coming on this Cattleya rescue from Ken. Sorry about that leaf continually getting in the way. And again, some leaf separation there. And we've got this one that we also got as a rescue, that this new growth is coming right on along. So not as quickly as the other one, but it is moving. And of course, Hibiki. She doesn't look as bad as I think she does, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting more. I keep looking at Nina's. I'm like, I want one that looks like that, but I'm sure she didn't have it like that right away. The seedling, Potnera Dick Smith, like I said last week, this growth here is just a stonker compared to previous growths. And then last but not least, on this shelf, we have the Lycaste that, well, I think she's done growing her leaves. It's probably time for her to go dormant. I've never owned one of these, so I'm just kind of watching and observing. Down here we have our mainly Latorias. Lots of new growths coming up on the mini snowflake. And then the royal chip. Look at all the new growth in there. Look at that. Just new growth everywhere. And what I do is when I see it like this, I try to kind of tuck it in so that it starts growing a little more straight instead of all off to the side, without, of course, damaging anything. Now, if it insists to go back, I'll just leave it, and I may strap it, but matter of fact, I see a whole new growth coming right there. I just noticed that one. My Nobly, I didn't do it properly this year. I did not make sure to water her all the time and give her strength. So all of her new growths are a little sad. But I'm going to keep watering her and see what happens. And then, of course, this one here, you see the nice new growth there. I can't remember the name of that one. Let me see if I can grab the tag. I think this is the Silver Wings. Yeah, this is the Silver Wings crossed with Nydia. So I'm excited to see her bloom one day. This is, again, one of the rescue phals. Like I said, I'll do the video over so we can really get a look at her. This here is the chocolate chip, who is finishing this growth, as well as, where is the other? She had two right here. There we go. And then the Roy Takanaga I already had prior to Ken sending me some. Finishing this one. Look how much bigger or taller this cane is as opposed to this one. So this side is gaining some strength. This one here is a little bit taller, but not quite. My Oro, this is the yellow Twinkle. She is starting to finish off some of her growth, so we might actually see those blooms again. This here, this yellowing that you see is from an older bulb, as is the spotting where I let her dry out. But we still have our spike getting worked on here. Then my Phalaenopsis dendrobium that I got when I received my Vanda is still here. I'm still waiting on roots. My little rubber tree plant. This is the, which white twinkle is this? This is the Twinkle Fragrant Fantasy? Yeah, Twinkle Fragrant Fantasy. So she's putting on lots and lots of growth. Some of them are actually maturing as well, so she might actually kick out some spikes for the winter, which will be great. Now this here is the yellow, not the Yellow King. Yeah, Yellow King. This is the Yellow King, the one with the 8 to 9 growths. I did cut off 2 of the back bulbs from here because they did kind of look like these. These are still firm. I know they look rotten just from the color, but you can see I'm pressing and they are still firm. The 2 that I cut off, they were completely flattened. Like there was nothing left to them. So again, Loki whining because somebody's walking on the sidewalk. My Phalaenopsis Hyacinth Venus is, let's see if we can see something in there. Yeah, it looks like she's going to start another leaf. I wish she'd rebloom. She came with 2 spikes. She's not rebloomed for me, but each leaf is getting larger. So she did this one, this one, this one. Maybe I have them backwards, but each leaf is getting larger. And then my Sweet Memory is actually still in bloom, guys. I thought she was going over, but these blooms are still nice and firm. So she is lasting a long time while working on a new leaf. Maxillaria tenuifolia that I got from Justin over at Justin's Orchids is finished this new growth. And then she has 1, 2, 3 more. So that is wonderful. And of course, I did cut a lot of the arch part of the Sherry Baby off just because the flowers were dying, and just kept this little part just to enjoy for a little bit longer. But this one is almost mature, so we may get another Sherry Baby spike here in the next few months. Oh, there goes another one, and another one. And what else is over here? Oh, look at Peachy. Look at that leaf. Like, she's just really loving it here. And these leaves are nice and firm. And then the Fred Clarkie After Dark. I don't know if she's going to develop a nice bulb or not, but I'm just going to let her do her thing. If she does want to bloom, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it. I don't think she's got the energy to do that. And then we've got Cornucervi, Chateladay. Let's see. Nope, nothing going on there, but we do have some root activity, so that is wonderful. Now what you see right here, ladies and gentlemen, let me not step on anything here, is, if I can move the Paphiopedilum leaf out of the way, that is all that's left of my Sonochi's Wine Delight. That little back bulb and that piece. And this piece right here. So I did keep this. I might try to put it in like a moss and see if it'll propagate. Probably not, but one can try. And, oh, sad news. So I really think my falcata that I got from Louisiana Orchids, yep, she's gone. She is completely gone. I thought I could save her by putting her in there because the humidity in there stays between 85 and 90. But this was the Neophonetia falcata Pink Shower crossed with lavender. So I may replace her though, and it was my fault. I let her dry out for too long and she just didn't want to make it. But while we have it open, everyone else in here is doing fine. Got lots of little growths going on in there. So they're doing great. My Neophonetia falcata regular here, she finished her blooms. I did cut the spike. And then, of course, Paphiopedilum back there is working. But more importantly, look what we have on the way. We have a red apple. Look at that. I love the way these guys grow. I just love it. And then this Spalina here has a little fuzzy on there. Look at the leaf on this one. Look how long that is compared to her previous growth. So she is coming into her own as well. And then this is a no ID. Grew this gorgeous leaf here this year and is working on another leaf down there. And then these ladies down here are doing great. I'm not going to talk about the ones that are in the ICPU. We'll just skip over those. This one here is a mini. Look how big this leaf is for a mini. But she's either white and pink or all pink. And I've got bad news, guys. I really think my Sogo is completely gone. Now she does have, I mean, she is trying. Whoop. She is trying. So I will continue to baby her, but I don't think she's going to be around in 2024. And I have tried to see if they have any more available. Currently, they are out of stock. And then this is the one we bought a year ago. That is doing marvelous. Another mini here. So if this one is the white with the pink, or the pink with the white, then this one is the all pink. So one or the other, that's what those two are. And that's just a no ID yellow fowl. The cacti that sits up half under the table, half outside the table is doing marvelous. Those are all ICPU. My Schilleriana that I got from Norman's has finally finished off this leaf here. And I'm thinking I might need to go into this pot because when I was looking at it the other day, excuse me, some of the roots that she came with, as you can see, is kind of rotted out. And this is fresh media, so I don't want those dead roots to spoil my new, excuse me, spoil my new media. Okay, I had to pause it for a second because I had a coughing thing. And then Miss Japonica here grew that leaf. That's it. And then she decided she wanted to grow another leaf for this season. And just to show you the tag, she is the Japonica. And then my other Schilleriana that I got from Yoshi over at Orchids by the Lake. Didn't do anything this year except for grow some roots. But you know what? She did something. Oh, and she did lose a leaf. So other than that, I'm just going to let her do her. And then we have the Mewtwo King Bellina. Again, growing beautiful leaves. And working on another one. Eventually, I'm going to see a Bellina in life. One day. While we're here, let's just look up here. For those of you who missed the video yesterday, this is one of our newest members to the living room. It is the Silogeny, not Sonochi, Silogeny. See if I can get close enough to the tag. There we go. That's what that is. But she's got 2 new growths coming along, so hopefully she'll enjoy it here in the living room in front of this east-facing window. For the rest of this season, I think next year I'll find another spot for her, but for now I think that's a good lighting for her to settle herself in. And this is Big Girl Yin Yang, the one I kept hitting. If I wasn't hitting the root, I was hitting one of these leaves that stick out. Moved my zigzag plant over here. And then the Cattleya Montana Big Sky, I moved it from where the Brassavola Little Stars was that we saw earlier, to over here, just to correct this growth right here. And then this one is the Mayan, the Oncidia Celtic Sun Mayan. And she is absorbing that leaf. It is off of one of the older growths, so I'm not too concerned. But her newest growth looks like it's getting ready to start swelling out her bulb. And then my 2 Zygonesia Murasakis are doing marvelously. And I wiped these off as best as I could. I didn't want to wipe too hard. But that new growth right there, doing great. This one right here. And then this one over here, of course, is getting larger. I love how they are nice green, and then they eventually turn to this lovely shade of green here. And then we have the Zygopetalum Censor Bluebird, I think is what this one is called. Look at that. And she has a new growth coming right there, so that's good. Orange Kiss is finally settling in and saying, okay, I'll grow 2 of them for you. And they're growing at pretty much the same speed. So we may actually get double spikes. And the reason I'm saying that so confidently is I've had her since February of 2021. And every new growth that she's given me, she has produced a spike. Now, last year's spike did not bloom correctly because I think I failed her on the watering. So I have really been keeping an eye on that. Wilsonera here, she is just finishing off this growth here. So I should see a new growth off of her in the next few months. And then my pink Profusion Twinkle is finished with the growth that she came with, which is this bulb right here in front of us. So I'm just waiting for new growth on her. And then the Miltonia Spectabula, no, this is the Spectabulus. The Dendrobium is the Spectabula. But Spectabulus, the one with the pretty purple with pink lip flowers, I finally cut all the flower spikes off and just kind of seeing what she's going to do. If I don't see any new growth in the next few weeks, I will slow down on the watering, because from what I understand, if they're not growing, you really don't want to water them and ruin the roots. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. And then we have a couple over here. I've got this one here that I moved because I don't think she was getting enough light where she was at. And then I did move my soft clouds that were on a mount over here because I need that space where they used to hang over by the porpox and the Hawaiian treat for something else that you guys will see in the future. Just have it hanging here with 2 of my Hoyas. I have a Pupalex, and then that is the tricolor. I am going to have to keep an eye out though, because both of those I've seen mealybugs on, but they were on there when I bought them. And because they're in the same media that I bought them with, I look at those every day, and I just moved her over here recently. So I'll keep an eyeball out. If I see problems, somebody's got to move. Somebody's got to move. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I know it was a little bit of a long one. Leave your comments below if there's any orchid you want me to touch on as an individual. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week.